2, 1. We are live. Hello, Brittany. Welcome to Master Monday, and a shout out to Sam. I should turn the volume off on my phone. Did you hear that? Did you hear the echo? Shout out to Sam for tagging the countdown on Facebook. Brittany and I are like, what is that? What's beeping? What's happening?
Hey, Mac.
That's super cool. Mac's on already. Oh, cool. Hello. Oh, and Julie's here. Awesome. Very cool. Well, welcome to Master Monday on a Monday, because, you know, a couple of my Master Mondays have been off schedule lately. So this is kind of cool. And this has been such a freaking awesome Monday. Not that I could really get into too much of it, but it's just been killer. And so I'm really excited and I'm really hyper, and I'm so glad that you're here.
I'm really excited to be here. I'm so stoked for this.
Cool.
Let me turn down my ringer here. There we go.
All right. Yeah, so I don't know that we need to like share this out, because I think that our friends have done that for us. Right?
That's fantastic. You guys are amazing.
It's looking like they might have done that. 4 people are watching already. Nice. I only see 2. So I know that Brittany does not like people lurking. So say hello.
No, I don't like lurkers.
Say hello.
It's like staring into somebody's damn window. Like, at least let them know you're there.
Exactly. Oh, we're up to 6. Come on, people. Say hello. Who's with us tonight? Okay. So, Brittany, let's get right into it, because we've known each other for, of course, my dog. I didn't lock him up. I say this every week. And he just started acting up. I cannot believe this. It's Murphy's Law. I need to just... Howard. Oh, Sam. I thought you were talking to my dog.
Is that the chicken?
All right, so Brittany. Yes, it is the chicken killer. So not a real chicken, my cooked chicken that as I took it out of the oven, he ate it. So we've known uh-oh, did you hear that?
You're good, dude.
Wow.
If it wasn't your dog, it'd be my kids. So we're good.
It's something. Okay. So we've known each other for a few months, and over the last few months, you've been transitioning big time. And so when I first met you, you had a group called?
Well, the group itself was called No Place for BS. And I ran that under the name of, I guess the name was over, I don't know. So, yeah, that's where it started, kind of. That was like step 2. It started with me in direct sales, and I just wasn't feeling fulfilled and like happy enough with how that was going. Hey, Kelly! So I created, BSBF, and it started off as more like an authenticity, accountability type coach, if you will. I hate the term coach for me, because I don't feel like a coach. I'm not over here like rah sis boom fucking bah or anything. But
I don't know if I agree with that.
Well,
that's okay.
Well, with certain things, maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, so I started off as your bullshit best friend, and I actually went to the Badassery Bash back in April, and shit shifted while I was down there. And I came home and I was like, I've been sitting on this name for months. It's time to do something with it. So I was going to look into changing, not necessarily my whole business, just changing the name and rebranding and that kind of stuff. And the name that I was sitting on was called After the Rain. And I looked into it, it was already taken. So I was like, okay. Oh, now. And, so here's like, it started with After the Rain, and the whole place where that came from is, I had this like epiphany in Spiritual Badass during like one of Amethyst Challenge. And like ultimately my goal, like what would make me the most fulfilled and happy in my life and with my business, like my business life,
Right.
is to have an island retreat for survivors of sexual abuse, assault, rape, incest, all of it. And in the States, we have RAINN, RAINN, which is the Rape, Assault, Incest National Network.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like the go-to source for initial like reporting or any kind of thing. And there's like, upon my research, and I have a background in criminal justice too, so I spent a lot of my time and a lot of my research and a lot of my papers revolved around how, at least most prevalent, I should say, in American culture, and with rape culture and everything, there are not many, and there's certainly not enough resources for after a rape has occurred or an assault has occurred.
Right.
And because it is a violent crime, so anybody who thinks that, like, you know, even if it's not violent, it is a violent crime. It's classified as a violent crime. It's so underreported that and it's so prevalent. I mean, 1 in 4 women will experience some form of sexual assault before they turn 18.
Right.
So, and that's what's been reported. That's what's not been reported, you know, that we really need to focus on. And so that's why with clearing the RAINN, it kind of plays off of, you know, the network that we have now in the States. But also, I'm a big believer that to be a victim. And a lot of people kind of look at me like, no, I don't. But you do, because there is life after being victimized.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
And so with clearing the RAINN, that's what it's all about. It's about clearing those storms that someone pushed, you know, onto you.
Right.
And clearing all that shit out of yourself, out of your mind, out of your, you know, your heart and your soul, mm-hmm. and moving on with your life.
And is this just for women?
No, absolutely not. It's for men and for women. Sadly, there are, and now it's starting to be talked about a little bit more, especially in my group, under the umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, statistically, 1 in 7 men are, I hate saying rape victims. 1 in 7 men have experienced some form of sexual assault themselves.
Right.
And it's not talked about because, you know, the whole patriarchy and all that bullshit, et cetera and so forth. But that doesn't mean that the guys that have gone through these things don't need the support and don't need the same kind of support that is more prevalently offered to women. So I work with men and with women. And I think what really sets me apart from other, I want to say like traditional type things, is I don't believe that dwelling on the past and reliving those events are helpful. The last thing any rape victim wants to do is talk about their fucking rape and what they went through and relive every detail. So what I do is I actually help my clients and I help the people that are in under the umbrella see that that's just a section of their past, and because there's nothing we can do to change it, there's everything that we can do to change our present and our future.
Right.
So that's what I focus on. And it's been helping a lot of people already. I mean, I think we're up to like 146 people, 145 people in the group. And I take my clients on one-on-one. Mm-hmm. Because we do a lot of soul searching, we do a lot of digging, we do a lot of uncovering the darkness that all of us have.
Right.
And especially the darkness that is associated with those experiences.
And how do you do that? Talk about some of the workshops, the free, you know, some of the free programming that you've offered. What do you do to help clients kind of uncover that? Okay, so like the challenges in my group, I like to do months. And I think the challenges themselves are a really, really good way for people to see that in order to get to where they want to be, you know, I hear a lot. Let me just back up for a second.
I hear a lot of people say that they want to be like me, where I can talk about my own experiences because I am a rape survivor. I'm a rape liver, and I'm also a liver from childhood molestation. So it's one of those things where, like, I know what the fuck I'm talking about because I've gotten myself to this point.
Right.
So all of the challenges that I do in my group, all of the workbooks I have for my one-on-one clients, they're all coming from things that I've done myself to get me to here. To get me, I'm not going to say healed, because I don't think we're completely healed until we completely accept ourselves and we love ourselves unconditionally. And that's kind of hard to do. It's very hard to do in today's society. But the challenges that I make in my group are ways to do that. So, like, I've had challenges, of, what was the last one that I did? I'm, like, so focused on this month's challenge, which I can kind of hint at if you would like. Nobody knows it yet. But I've had challenges where, you know, I get you to look deep inside, and, you know, I've had and I come up with the best hashtags for my challenges. So if you're ever in need of a really good hashtag laugh, come over to the group for challenges and you'll see them. But the last one I did was you have everything inside of you. You have your inner tools to get you to be that person that, you know, you dream of almost. Right. So the whole challenge was about, you know, addressing a problem that you had. And then, like, the first day was saying what the problem was. So that could have been, like, anything from, you know, in-law problems to overeating to over-sexualization, like, whatever the case may be. And then the second day was to talk to a friend. Like, if a friend came to you with those problems, what you would say to them. And the third day was to actually put that advice into motion and use it and get it to work for you. So a lot of, like, my challenges, a lot of what I do is basically kind of like reprogramming you to be your own best friend. Because you wouldn't tell your best friend, like, the nasty shit you tell yourself, or that your mind or your ego tells you. So you're not allowed to do that to yourself. I don't let you bullshit yourself. I don't let you lie to yourself. And you sure as shit can't lie to me or my group. So, and Mindy, you know, like, don't come in there with nonsense. You know, and I think, like, with the workbooks and everything that I've created, like I said, everything that I do, I have already done, or I do myself, because I'm not going to ask you guys to, you know, really dig deep into a certain thing if I'm not willing to do it myself. Right. So the workbooks that I created are all questions that I've asked myself, that I've put my own thoughts and my own self through the mill, if you will. And they're designed to dig deep, but also to get you digging even deeper without me. So, like, it's a very good step. And, you know, we dig together, but also working together in that week before our next call. Right. We're already coming up with so many other things because things just click immediately. And I absolutely love that. I love that in my group with the challenges, like, people have had such great epiphanies and transformations just from the challenges. And I usually do, like, 3-day challenges.
Right. And I want to jump in and just, for anyone who might be watching the replay, make sure they realize that when you're talking about a group, we're talking about on Facebook. We're not talking about going to a building, you know, to a brick and mortar group.
Yeah. Not yet.
Group counseling. Not yet. Exactly.
Not yet.
But we're talking about your social media group. Yep. Yeah.
So, like, on Facebook, it's under the umbrella. And I'm sure we can put, like, the links up for all that stuff.
I sure can.
And to get into the group, it's bit.ly/shelter the storm. Both S's are capitalized. Max says I speak truth. He knows. He does know. And, you know, and Mac was with me before I rebranded and went over to Clearing the Rain.
Give me the link one more time. bit.ly.
/shelter, capital S.
Yep.
The
Yep.
storm, capital S, all one word.
In the comments. Oh, Emily's here too. Hey, Chicky. I love Emily. Okay, so back to your group. So so you don't ask people to do something you haven't done. Now, let's talk a little bit more about your one-on-one. What does that look like for someone who might be wondering? Because again, you're different than a traditional therapist. So what does working with someone one-on-one mean?
Well, first and foremost, I am not a licensed psychiatrist, psychologist, or therapist. So you guys need to understand that. And whatever we talk about, whatever advice I give you, you take on your own free will. I'm not responsible for what you do from working with me. That being said, I'm also not responsible for the crazy success and clarity that you get from working with me either. I just help you. I guide you along here. But for one-on-one, like I have two options. I have a 4-week intensive, and that it's still one-on-one, because I find that the nature of what I do, and many of my clients haven't told other people yet, and because there's such this stigma around being raped or being sexually assaulted or abused or molested, until enough people like me start raising their voice and start saying, this is happening literally in your neighbor's house.
Right.
This is happening in your house. I was molested by my own father. So it's happening everywhere.
Right. And I shared with you that I'm a victim of it as well.
Exactly. And I appreciate the fact that you speak about it, because not many people do. And I'm all about, like Max says, making a fuss. So I'm not going to shut up about this until I die. So, but with, working with me one-on-one, like I take confidentiality so seriously. Like nobody knows the names of my clients unless my clients have first said that they're working with me.
Right.
And that's kind of like I want to see like something. Aw, thank you, Kelly. I love you.
Oh, Kelly's the bomb. I love Kelly too. Actually, I love everybody that's watching this live right now. You guys have all impacted my life in ways that I cannot even comprehend. So anyway, sorry.
It's Great Monday. So
look, I got my life is good mug.
Nice.
Sorry. Okay, continue.
So, like with my 4-week intensive, you get a bi-weekly call with me, and you get 3 workbooks to work through. So it's basically a truncated VIP package,
right?
And it's very fast. Whereas the VIP package, that's a 3-month program, and it actually gives you a chance to dig like a lot deeper. And I'm more of the philosophy that you treat the root and not the branches.
Okay.
So what I mean by that is with like the VIP 3-month, we dig down to, I do a lot of work around fears with my clients. So say that somebody has a fear of visibility in their business online, they're not going to get anywhere. So we'll work on that and break it down to its smallest common denominator and work from that point up. Instead of saying, oh, you have a fear of visibility, well, let's just get you doing lives. Like if there's something much deeper than that, we need to address that. Now
let me interject for a minute and say, now you just switched from talking with people who have been victimized to now talking about their business. So how does one jump into the other?
Okay, so that's a fair point. But I know firsthand that in order to be successful and strong and have like the most perfect, unshakable stance with your business, you have to be unshakable with yourself. And because of the prevalence of how many women go through this and of how many men go through this, these things that are stemming from when you were victimized,
Mm-hmm.
they will travel through every facet of your life.
Right.
So it's going to go into your relationship with your spouse, with your family, with your friends, with your kids, with your clients.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason why it seemed like there was that jump is because I really like to see other people succeed. And I know how important it is, and I feel it in my heart and the passion and everything, to have your own business and to help billions of people, right? And get to that point. But I don't want to say you can't, because I don't want to be like the naysayer, but it is extremely fucking hard to do so.
Mm-hmm.
If all of these things, this tornado of shit inside of you that stems from someone taking advantage of you and taking shit they never had any business taking from you, if you don't address those things, it's going to make it so much harder for you to have that business where you skyrocket and where you are able to connect to people. You're not going to know who the hell you are because you're still you're still living with this shadow of somebody else's shit. Like, that's the most important thing. Case in point, I'll speak, about my own experiences. Had it not been for the fact that I've already, as a teenager and very young adult, like, gone through my own courses, if you will, and really understood that, like, yes, these things happened to me. It's in my past. I can speak about them. I've made peace with them. Do they still piss me off? Absolutely, because nobody should have to go through that. But sorry, I'm just like, what? I got notifications. But it's, if I hadn't have made peace with those things and understood that I needed to go through my rape and molestation, then I would not be here. I wouldn't be able to help other people. I wouldn't be able to create this incredible fucking business. I mean, most people look at, like, how successful I am. And I use quotes because I'm not to my desired level of success yet. But they look at how successful I am and they don't realize that I've only been in business since essentially December of last year. So I'm still very new to the whole, entrepreneurial business realm. Yeah. But I'm not new to living my life.
Right.
Regardless of the shit that has happened. Right. So I think really, in order for you to connect to your clients on that level that we so desperately need in the world, you have to know who the hell you are first. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know who you are, thank you, Sam.
Yep.
I am. And it, like, seriously, it is the most amazing thing to me, that I get to help people change their lives. Mm-hmm. And I'm not just talking like little changes. I'm talking like monumental fucking shifts. I mean, I've had clients go from, one of my, like, first clients, Natalie, she is a health and wellness coach. She's already given me permission to talk about things, so don't worry. We went from, like, her fears of being visible and people seeing her and, fear of failure and screwing up and being successful, because there's other shit that goes along with, people don't, like, unless you've experienced it. I should say, for the people that haven't experienced some kind of sexual trauma, they don't understand that it's almost like a taffy, right? You can pull it, but it's still there. And you can mash it around, and it just starts getting on every fucking thing that you touch, right? And
it gets to the core of your being. I mean, exactly. It just latches on to every internal piece of you.
It does, exactly. And we're so conditioned to think because these things happen to us against our wills that we're somehow broken and that we're somehow damaged and that we're somehow no good. And because we think that, because that is all the extra outside shit coming into us, we start internalizing that, and then that becomes our story. That becomes our identity. That's not your identity, though. Your identity is the person that's on the inside, in your heart, the true person that sees the shit that's happened as something that has happened in their past.
Right.
And I think once you get to that point, especially when you're a business owner, and you get to the point where you can talk about the good, bad, and the ugly,
Mm-hmm.
and your clients see you as the human that you are. They don't see you as a profile avatar. They see you as a person. They see you as a soul. And I firmly believe that we are moving so much more so into that realm of how we operate and how we do business with people.
Mm-hmm.
So like I am so absolutely passionate. Like I could go on for fucking days about this, but I am so passionate about people really getting to the core of their being,
Mm-hmm.
and letting that the fuck out. I mean, there's so much more we can do if we let it out. And I think if there's anyone on this fucking planet that deserves to be able to do that, it's people who have been through this traumatic shit. You know, and I say shit because it is. In the long run, it is shit. Because everything that you are going to be able to do, once you kind of switch and you're like, really don't need to carry these bags anymore, I can put them down. And once you put them down and you're light and you have clarity and everything, you're like, I can fucking do anything.
Mm-hmm.
It just becomes another thing in your past, like a trip to, you know, Philly, or the time you walk the dog down the street. Like, it just becomes that.
Right.
Because you're no longer letting it define who you are as a person. So.
Awesome. Now I want to talk about this retreat.
Yes.
I want to talk about this retreat because this is something that, well, for anyone who knows me, knows that I love planning events and helping spread messages and bringing people together. And so, you know, I posted in a group one day. I just randomly asked, you know, what did I say? The event of your dreams. If you could have any event, what would it be? And Brittany, you automatically replied that you want to be able to hold a retreat for your clients on an island, right? Like you were thinking like a month-long retreat on an island to refocus and just break it all down and rebuild and come back, you know, refreshed, renewed, and everything else. And so, but I think we're starting off a little bit smaller. We're trying for like a weekend, long weekend, or a week. And we need people to help fund that. We need to do some fundraising. And so we're going to be asking people that are watching the replay, to really kind of help get involved and help make that happen. You are going to be filing your 501c3. So you will be a nonprofit. So that is going to be happening,
Yep.
Which makes it everybody's contributions tax deductible. And I want to make sure that people know that this organization wants to provide a retreat at no cost to the survivors.
Yeah, that is absolutely paramount to my dream. Like, if there's the dream of having the retreat, but there are so many things around it, and not having the survivors have to pay is so important to me. Like, people don't realize in the United States, every year, there are hundreds and thousands of rapes. The amount of money that someone who has been raped has to shell out just for medical expenses, at minimum, is $7,000 a year. That doesn't include court costs, because there's only so many victim advocacy groups, and there's only so many victim advocates, period, that can help with this. And I mean, first of all, the way our justice system is in terms of this is just completely backwards. And I'll be working on that too. Don't think that this is I'm just on this one crusade. I got a lot. But being able to provide this retreat for literally anyone who needs it, free of charge to them, is tantamount to what I feel would be the success of this retreat.
Right. And we're talking an all-inclusive multi-day retreat where people can go through workshops, spend time with you, spend time with any other support people that come in, right? Because it wouldn't just be you.
No,
and really giving.
Yeah, like I have this, dude, I'm telling you, there's like this whole web of things. I have plans to have licensed therapists and psychologists on site, chefs, yoga masters. I've also recently included having animal therapists come in.
Awesome.
With varying types of animals. There's going to be so much included. And the thing about this is that everyone knows someone who has been affected by this.
Right.
And based on that, you know how detrimental that even just one act can be to a person, to a family, to your friend, whatever the case may be. So I definitely see, people contributing to this in right now what seems like scary, mind-blowing numbers. And I think it's absolutely awesome because there's going to be so many people that are going to finally heal from doing this. And this is why I'm here. So it's going to be fucking amazing. So
and
awesome.
Are there ages? Is there an age requirement that you're thinking?
I would like it to be 18 and older. Basically because I'm not even going to call it a dream. What my plan is to have it on an island. And I don't think as a parent I'd be okay with sending my 14 or 15-year-old to an island for a month.
Right.
So it's going to be 18 and up because, you're legally an adult at that point. But the nice thing about this is it would be for anyone who has just experienced something there's no statute of limitations on healing.
Okay.
So 18 and up.
Awesome. So if there was one thing that you could leave everybody with tonight, what's that one bit of information that everybody should think about?
I want you to start walking down the street. And I want you to look at every single person you pass. And for every seventh man you see, silently apologize. For every fourth woman you see, silently apologize. And I think by doing that, you will understand how disgustingly astronomical the numbers are. And I think that will really start to create even more of an empathetic feeling to the people who have been through these things. And there is no good way to change around rape culture because there's going to be rapists. There's going to be a culture for it and about it. But if you change things on yourself, exactly, and the statistics do have names, and that's why I want you to look at faces. Because if you have nothing else, you have your face, and that's your identity that the world sees. Right? So just looking at people and thinking that they could possibly have gone through this shit will really help to bring greater awareness even in yourself and in your conversations with other people. And I think that's like the very first step into really changing this mindset that rape is a victim's problem.
Right.
Rape is a rapist's problem. So I think if anything, that's what I would want to leave you guys with. And, if you've been through that yourself, please talk to someone. It doesn't even have to be me. It just has to be somebody. Because this isn't your shit to be carrying around. And it's okay to let it go. okay to just put those bags down and kind of shrug around a bit.
Yeah. And it's not your fault.
Absolutely not. I mean, that's
not your fault.
Yeah, in order to keep this from going like 6 hours, there is nothing associated with an assault, with a rape, with being molested, anything that could ever possibly be your fault, unless you were the one doing it.
Right.
That is it. The person who perpetrates it is the person at fault. So
there you go. Well, Brittany, thank you so much. I loved having you on here. And so everyone's mission, for those watching the replay, is to look at everybody that you pass on the street, in the mall, at work, wherever. And for every 7th man that you pass, silently apologize. And for every 4th woman that you pass, silently apologize. That also includes children.
Yeah.
And watch Brittany, because Clearing the Rain is going places, and we're going to be doing fundraising, and we're going to be doing event planning, and we're going to be asking for money. So check her out. Her Facebook group is under the umbrella. Her company, Clearing the Rain. And Brittany, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Mindy. You guys can find me at www.clearingtherain.com. That's my website. And then on Facebook, Clearing the Rain, that's my biz page. And again, for the group, it's bit.ly/shelterthestorm. And
awesome.
If you need any references, I mean, just ask around. People know me.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. And I am more than happy to be a reference, because I have spent time in Brittany's group, and I have spoken with a lot of people that she has worked with. What? What'd you say?
Unless it lagged.
Oh, maybe it lagged. Okay. So no, Brittany's a rock star. So check her out. So with that, we will say goodnight, and find Brittany if you have any questions. Anyone watching the replay, feel free to post your questions, and we'll make sure they get answered. All right. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye.